am currently in
Actually,
Croatia.
actually, they are pretty good. Yo,
Okay,
nice.
that's
They
good.
see us. Tommy
They
sees
see
us. Ayman
us.
sees us. Nice.
Perfect, perfect, cool. Yeah, I'm in Croatia. We're going back tomorrow, so the internet issue that I have maybe today, hopefully not. Fingers crossed, guys. Will not be the case for next week. Welcome to today's Creators Call. Welcome, Aladdin. Thank you for being
Thank you.
here. Welcome to
Welcome
all the
back to
people.
your own cradle.
Welcome to all the people who are in the audience watching now. I have a few exciting news to share and a very exciting topic to talk about today. Let's just go over it real quick. I'm not sure if my internet will be strong enough to share my screen. I really hope so, but unfortunately, I doubt it. So please, I'll try it, and if it's lagging, you just let me know. I'll let you know. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Cool. Guys, we are. Oops, that's the topic we're going to talk about in a second, but we are approaching a new chapter of motion creators. I think we've talked about it a lot in the last few weeks, months, but we are this close to releasing it. I don't know how many of you have checked the community tab, but you can see that we've restructured the course a bit. It will change a bit look wise, but the structure is now almost final. The videos are not, but the structure is almost final. So in case you haven't seen, we restructured the course a bit. We don't have the After Effects module, the Viral Editing Masterclass module anymore. We now have a step-by-step roadmap what it takes to become a creator. I don't want to go too deep into detail into this because we will have a separate announcement for that. But when we check the editing toolkit, this is where all the new, oops, wrong one. When we check the editing toolkit, this is where all the tutorials about the basics, foundations are in. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to check out the compositing module. It's new. It's one of the new things. We will have a separate Blender course that will be super in depth, just about foundations of Blender. A lot of people have been requesting it, so we obviously listened, and it's coming. And then also we'll have a bunch more in-depth tutorials. Just feel free to check out the structure for yourself if you haven't. But be prepared for a big announcement in the next few days once I'm back. I have so many cool videos. One of them is one of the topics we'll talk about today. But yeah, there's so many different topics that will be covered. Finding your niche, client personas, why people buy people. So many things, guys. Have a look in there. Feel free to check out the sneak peek. It's not final. It's coming in the next few days. But yeah, that's what's happening on our end. We've been working a lot. Paul and I went to Croatia to do full sprint mode. He's actually working right now. And yeah, just as a quick update. Cool. Was my screen share? Did it work?
Yeah, it was working until you came at the end and you were like a little bit lagging. But after you finish your after you finished your presentation.
Okay, let's hope it doesn't lag for the other ones. But yeah, Blender course will be big. I know it's great. It's honestly more than needed. Yeah, so many things are coming, and yeah, feel free to check. But we have a topic to talk about today. Aladdin, please interrupt me if my internet is lagging. I will try to, speak as slow as possible to make it as understandable as possible. But yeah, just interrupt me at any time when something's not working.
Cool.
Okay,
Cool.
perfect, awesome. I want to talk about a topic that is a lot of people have been talking about it. It's a topic that everybody's aware of, and it's what it takes to find your niche, right? Everybody talks about niching down. Why is niching down so important? How do you even niche down? What the fuck is a niche? And why is it so important? And that's kind of what I want to go over today. There's a big misconception between what a niche is because brands, when you think about it, brands don't buy content creators, but they buy mostly relevance, right? They buy a video from someone because it generates eyes, it generates traffic. And having a niche does not mean you are limiting yourself in your content, but it's positioning yourself in a certain form, right? Positioning yourself in a certain niche means that you know what you create and you present it that way. The general thing is that people trust specialists and not generalists. and the term that when you're for everyone, you're basically for no one applies definitely. And I've had to learn that the hard way. I will go over some more in-depth things about my career and what I've learned in a second, but I just want to lay the foundations to make you understand why niching down is so important and so powerful, actually. Um, so, what does it take to define your niche? There's different ways you can define your niche, and niching down does not always mean the same thing. You can define your niche by a certain industry form, for example. You can do travel videos, you can shoot automotive, you can do luxury, you can do fashion, you can do fitness, whatever it is, whatever industry you pick, you can niche down by just picking a certain industry. When you look at some car creators, they just do car content. When you look at some travel influencers, they do content for tourism boards, and there's luxury, fashion, product photography. All that stuff is niching down, right? You can also niche down by a format, right? You can shoot hyperlapse reels. You can do special transitions. There's different influencers that do each of these, right? There's someone who does these like phone holding, hand hold transitions. That's their niche, right? That's their format. You can also do miniatures, for an example, or you just do 3D animations. All that stuff is niching down by a format and adapting that format to a certain product or to a certain brand. You could also obviously niche down by results. When your niche is creating viral views, this is a very general term, but there's a lot of people that niche down and position themselves as viral view specialists. That does not mean that they have a certain type of content they create. For them, it's more result driven. It can also be cinematic storytelling, right? You're able to tell stories in a very cinematic way, no matter what the story is. You can also, when your goal is to create brand awareness or whatever it is, it's result driven, and that's what a lot of people do. I think my biggest advice to start creating is to start looking at what's working for you. Look at your best performing work and see why it performed well. There is a hook to that, because this can be a bit tricky, because only because you post something that performs well does not necessarily mean that that is your niche, right? Because at the end of the day, your niche is a triangle, which I will get to in a second. It's a combination of things you're great at. It's a combination of things that brands pay for, obviously, and it's a combination of things that and that's the biggest part, that you actually enjoy, right? I want to give a quick example from my career when I was back then creating a lot of these Minecraft intro animations. Obviously that was a bit back in the days, but I was doing that, and I got a lot of jobs from that. A lot of people approached me through that, and a lot of people wanted something like that, right? Once I grew out of that age and wanted to start creating something else, right? I was more into cameras. I was more into shooting actual video. I, still had the risk that the stuff that was performing well was, actually giving me clients, was the stuff that I was not genuinely excited about. And same with festivals. When I had a festival gig that I did, and I did some 3D animations there, it was a lot of like festivals approaching me, and that could have been my niche, but I tried it out and I realized that may or may not be it. And yeah, I realized it was not it. So I just cut it and just didn't pursue in that niche, even though it could have been my niche, right? I want to kind of like state, because this is something I've been struggling with a lot, or been working on a lot. Talking about my niche, because how can a niche look like, right? What I would say my niche is, I specialize in, when I break it down into industries, automotive, tech, and just overall product showcase. I do not specialize in travel videography. I do not specialize in creating cinematic hyperlapses. That's not what I do. And this is something I had to learn and to understand and accept that that is the case, because I wanted to be able to do everything, right? Because everything excited me in a sense, and I did not want to feel limited. But this is what I'm saying. Like, niching does not mean that you're limiting yourself. It just means that you're positioning yourself. And now I feel way more confident in presenting my work and showcasing my work and telling people what I do than I was before, right? So the format that I do is kind of creative storytelling with 3D, creating some crazy transitions, and then also creative camera work and angles and unique angles. And the results, if you want to cut it down to that, are a lot of views and shareable videos that people see, and they're like, oh, cool, let me send this to a friend. This is what I would say my niche is. But this has evolved so much and changed so much, and this is what I do now. And I think I have never felt more confident in my work and my abilities. But again, this took a while to get there, to be able to say that. Yeah, the niche triangle. Using your niche as a filter is also super powerful when you actually kind of have a niche, just like I do now. Having a niche as a form of a filter is so powerful because you can actually see and think if the brand that is approaching you even matches your style. Because what I've realized is when I was approached by brands that had like a, I don't know, like a software or like it was like a beauty product, and they just only saw the views and they were like, yeah, I want this person to create something for us. We don't know what he can do, but he gets views, so come up with a concept. And I was sitting there struggling to think like, how am I going to like make this? I was not excited about the product. I was not excited about that, and but I didn't have my niche figured out yet. So I was like, yeah, I need to be able to find out something because otherwise, what am I good for, right? This is my job to be able to come up with a concept. But no, you don't have to, because when the product does not match your niche, and that's why I now feel so much better also from a mindset point of view. I feel so much better because I don't need to do all the jobs, right? And I always ask myself that question: if that brand with the beauty product approaches me, can I genuinely deliver great work for them? Am I excited enough to create good work for them? And the answer is no. So I just don't do these commissions, right? And also, big point, obviously, will this add to my positioning? Will this be a video that I would put out there and showcase that brings me more clients that I want to work with? Most likely, when I put out a beauty product, you know, or software reel that performs well, I'll probably be approached by those companies. And if that didn't excite me from the first place, or in the first place, then it's most likely not the right thing to do and focus on something else. Because saying yes to something means saying yes to something else. And I've said this quote before, and I've seen this quote on Instagram a lot, and I think it's so true. And I have this tattoo on my arm, and I've showed it before. It says yes because I'm a big believer in. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm a big believer in saying yes to opportunities. Very opportunistic, but in some cases, saying yes to something means saying no to something else. And that is, for me, for an example, festivals, animated series. If I pursued the animated series or the animated, Minecraft intros back in the days, or pursued the festivals, I would have gotten more jobs from them. But it would have been way harder for me to start working on stuff that actually excited me, right? So, yeah, essentially what niching down is creating freedom for yourself. A niche gives you the creative power and does not limit you in any way, or shouldn't limit you in any way. When you have a niche figured out and you put out more content that is similar and kind of like has your signature on it, that becomes recognizable, meaning more people will want it because it's there, they've seen it, they trust it, right? Brands reach out because they know what you stand for, they know what you've done for other people. I think this is self-explanatory, but I think it's always important to keep this in mind and really look at it, because I just know it for myself. Like, I wouldn't be that specific about these topics if I hadn't been in that position where I was like, yeah, but like, if I niche down too much and I just do automotive, maybe, maybe I do want to do other stuff. But no, yeah, I want to do other stuff, but something that is related in that niche, something that has to do with tech, something that I can transform, something that is, I can find cool camera angles, something that has a product to it, something that is graphable, I can have in my hands where I can be in front of the camera, all these elements are not super specific, right? I'm not here saying that I create car videos and that's all I do. No, I do different stuff, but it's way more specific than it was 6 months ago. And that's because I've reflected on it and started to really push towards that. And that got me so much further, which is why I really want to stress this out so much. But obviously, there is a big but there. I can sit here and talk all day long. You need to be aware that this is a process. I wish I could give you the golden advice, and I wish I could give myself the golden advice, but the only golden advice I could give myself, like, I don't know, a year ago, or like 2 years ago, is I don't want to say the cheesy quote, but you know what the cheesy quote is: trust the process. Because what I didn't fully embrace was that all these trial and error projects that I've done in the past, and then trying out totally different fields, corporate, festivals, animation, cinematography, big set production, all these different have nothing to do with each other, but they do because they all made me be able to know what I don't want. And that's something that, is very unsatisfying to say because you want to know what you want and not what you don't want. But knowing what you don't want is, I would say, almost as important, if not more important, than just knowing what you want. Cool. That I think, gives a good foundation of what I think niching down can be and why I think it's important. I would love to have a conversation about it. If there's any questions coming up, if there's anything to talk about, let's have a chat because I think this is a really fun topic that I now feel way more comfortable in talking about than half a year ago because I was like, what am I supposed to say to that? I don't even know what I do. But now I feel way more confident to talk about it. So yeah, I know, Aladdin, we've been talking about this topic.
Oh yeah.
We
So
have.
before I get into it by myself, is anyone has a question towards this topic before we go to Tommy? Tommy has a request to review his video, but at the end. So for now,
Mhm. Yeah, I can do
yeah,
that
we
in a
have
second.
Shabir. Where is the After Effect course? We want more from Lucas.
It's not connected to the topic, but I can show you. It's in here in the editing toolkit, and it's all in here. And we have 5 more videos coming in here. One of them is, I haven't uploaded them, but one of them is masking, tracking. Um, One of them is rotoscoping. Then there's one about a map transition. Lucas has a bunch more tutorials that I just need to upload. Will be there in a few days, but you can check them all here. The ones that are already out.
Okay, I have a question. So, would you say that you yourself is the product or is the niche? Like Lenny is the niche?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Why
Because
not?
I think building a personal brand is different than operating in a niche. I think there is there are two different things, right? Because what I try to do with my content is build a reputation around my name, around this face that stands on its own, right? And I think I would say I have a unique style, right? That makes it a special type of content that makes it stand out, maybe that inspires people, hopefully, maybe. But I still say that because I say that in the context of what do clients look for and what type of clients do I attract with my content, right? And that is very specific and also important for me to nail down because then I can be way more specific with my pitches to clients. I can be way more specific with the results I show to certain type of clients to convince them. Because at the end of the day, it's great to be creative mind and be all out there and be create stuff for the fun of it. But at the end of the day, when we're talking business and we're talking about client work,
Mhm.
we need to know which kind of brands am I targeting, right? Which brands am I interesting to? And they will probably not be like, okay, we're interested in that person because he's Lenny. They will probably be like, okay, he has a unique style. Whoever that guy is, he has a unique style. Not now, not yet, right? Maybe at some point when I'm Cristiano Ronaldo at some point, they're probably like, okay, this is Cristiano Ronaldo. And he's his own, person. But at that point, right now they're more likely to be like, okay, he creates car videos for other brands. We like cars, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
I
Like the
think
imaginary, like the legendary photo between Cristiano and Messi while they're playing chess in the World Cup
yeah, yeah, yeah,
2022.
yeah,
Yeah, they were basically they were their brand,
yeah.
even though
They
Louis
are
Vuitton
their
trying
own
to do,
brand.
but they were the brand.
Exactly, and that's what I'm
Uh,
saying. Like building a niche is different from personal branding, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, Khalid has a question. He said, "Can I work in two niches?" Can I say something about this? Because I have faced an issue with that. And
Go
then
ahead.
Lenny, you can, yeah,
Yeah.
Lenny, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So in terms of two niches, I don't think it's not about you can't. I don't think like I don't think you would not be able. I don't think you would be able to work on two niches.
Hmm.
It's not about because you're not able or not you're not capable, but it's more of like the industry or the niche itself has its own language. Let's say if you talk about cars, so the car industry has its own terminologies, its own stuff, its own thing. So you got to learn that. And this takes years or even months. So, especially if you are breaking through a new niche and you want to work on two different niches, unless if you're really, really great at both of them and you are super familiar or at least have a very good knowledge of the two niches. So when you are, let's say, if Lenny is the client and I want to work with him about something in terms of like creativity and so on, if I don't speak his language, then it's gonna be a little bit of challenging, you know. And why
Hmm.
is that? Because you have two different niches. So and also like it will distract you from the main focus. That's from my experience because I really really struggled with that a lot, and I was like open to literally almost anything and everything, which is good at the beginning because you need to discover what is your niche,
Hmm.
but it's not good on the long term. So that's my experience. You can let me know, Lenny, if it's wrong or right.
100%. I do want to add something else to that because I think it's hard to define what a niche is because a niche can be, like I said, differentiated between industry, and it's more powerful when we're talking industry, right? When maybe Khaled, you can also say what type of niches you're operating in or you want to operate in. Because a niche, I want to share my screen real quick. A niche can also just be having a certain format, and that is also a niche, right? That is a certain type of niche that you fill in. And I want to give two examples of that, which is first of all, familiar with Nikolai as
Lenny, repeat again. You said you
it's
want
lagging.
to give an
Yes,
you said you want to give an example of.
of what a niche can also be instead of just an industry, right? Instead of just it being a car, uh, automotive, or whatever it is. A niche can also just be a format. And that is what I think, defines your niche. When you say that you want to operate in two different niches, try to find similarities between the two and make that your niche, right? Say, for an example, Nikolai, he does these transitions. I think you guys know them all. Probably you've seen them all over the place. And he creates his transitions. You can see here, he does the job for the tourism board of Morocco. Then he does a job for this beauty product. They have nothing to do with each other, but they all come together in one niche, which is his unique style. Same with Paul. He creates hyperlapses. He creates time lapses. He gets to do different types of clients, but in his own niche, which is hyperlapse and time lapse. And I think you will eventually end up in a niche, is what I think. When you're really pushing through, you will realize what works, what you're good at, and you will end up in a niche. And if that niche is creating a certain type of video for different brands, that is still your niche, right? So this is what I think, what you define as your niche and what type of clients you want to
Nice,
address and work with. So
nice. I hope this helped you, Khalid. Okay, so
yeah.
Tasdiq has a question. He said, "How would you know your niche if you have a versatile and broad skill set and style?" That's actually a very good question.
Yeah, that's this guy right here. I am very excited about a lot of things. I get excited about 3D animation. I get excited about camera work. I get excited about storytelling. I get excited about um, so many things. I get excited about being in front of the camera, about acting, about building stuff, crafting with my hands. What is my niche? And we're talking content creation. And I think what I have realized, because I couldn't answer that question a year ago, or 1.5 years ago, maybe. But now I think what I've learned is, hey, now what I've learned is that we're in a auto, so there is some people passing by. But what I've learned is that through um, looking at the stuff and maybe writing down the stuff that I'm really excited about, which was 3D work, which was camera work, cinematography. And then like writing all these components down and creating a format that now defines my niche. Do you know what I mean? And for you, it can be different. You maybe are excited about, editing. You're also excited about AI. You are also excited about, I don't know, Testing, what you're excited about, but like, and your skill set is set. You're probably also excited about engineer. I think you do some engineering or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. It does. It does.
just think of these components. I can already see them in front of me. Like there's tech stuff in there, there's AI in there, there's video editing in there, and they all go kind of hand in hand. So kind of think about what these components can create together, I would say.
I can add to that as well. So ask ChatGPT. It will help a lot to
Yeah.
find kind of give you an idea of what could be an appropriate niche would fit to those versatile skills. And also a
Hmm.
second thing outside of the ChatGPT, I would say maybe like focus on if you have multiple skills, choose one that you are already like the most good at. And
Hmm.
if there is other skills that you already know that can complement the main skill, then add it. And if it's not, then it's just there, and if it happened, then cool. So it's, for example, I would say, just I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, Lenny, but just I'm giving an example of you. So let's say like you said you are interested about acting, right? Maybe like you work at one of the clients project and they suddenly told you, okay, act this scene, and then you just acted, and from there, oh damn, it's good, I can actually act. There you go. And
Yeah.
then from there you start being the face of those companies, and etc etc. So
No,
it comes
it's
with time and all that, and it comes also with situations. So not necessarily you have to use all of them together, and if you want to use all of them together, then also ask ChatGPT to
I
help you with the
guarantee you
appropriate.
at some point you will make use of the skills that you have in any way.
Absolutely,
There is
absolutely.
no chance, and that's also what I want to connect with the next question from Pascal. He said, "Is it possible to work in one more than one niche?" That question we already answered, and he said, "I like to do car stuff and I like to do tattoo content." Do you think it makes sense, or just to focus on one thing? And I personally think it makes sense in the beginning to pick one of the two that you're more excited about first. Start doing that, and eventually, if the other topic is like interesting enough for you and you enjoy it as much, you will incorporate it together. Because I want to give an example for me, like talking about the acting thing, which has nothing to do with creating the 3D stuff and content. But now I like being in front of the camera more. I like acting scenes. You will see there's a new video that I'm
The
producing.
Mazda one.
That No, it's not the Mazda one actually. It's I could show you a sneak peek if you want to see it. It's
Oh,
one of these. Yeah, I don't know if you were able to see this. This is wait, I was acting. We were doing a video for an MMA company, and I got to act. So there's this one guy. He punches me, and then it's not done yet. But this is a 3D
oh
render, and then
yeah, I
flying through
saw
the
that.
scene.
I saw that
Yeah,
behind
and
the
then I
scene.
just
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a lot of acting involved. It was new. Like there was a lot of cool elements involved that I haven't really touched up on before. I mean, I was in front of the camera before, but this is where I see like, okay, this is my point to incorporate that. And now I'm being approached to be able to speak in front of on a stage in Australia. So that means I'll be able to like engage with people and be like, you see, this is what I mean. Like starting off somewhere will get you and will bring these opportunities to come in, right? At some point. I'm convinced that way. So yeah, maybe my answer would be to start
Definitely. So
somewhere and yeah.
start somewhere and focus on one or two thing, and then eventually when you go up, you will make use of the rest of your skills.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
believe that. All
yeah.
right. Tommy is
Tommy,
saying, I feel like I got my niche from the start, and that is really good. Pretty similar to yours, Lenny, selling products with outstanding 3D animations, health, and fitness inside of this. That's really actually cool.
that's awesome.
Ayman.
That's awesome. And
Ayman
then
is like,
what?
"Sure."
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah. Just
Cristiano
because
one.
Cristiano. That's because I think what also you will benefit from having that figured out is you will be able to first of all know which brands are interesting to you, right? I can tell you right now that car brands are definitely something that I'm more than interested in. Like I like cars, right? I didn't know that that would be my niche, or like I was not super big of a car fan, but I just thought it would be cool to like do that with cars. And now I'm like, I'm actually enjoying this. So cars are a big thing. And now I'm like, okay, what what makes my work, my niche? And if it's transformation and like product showcase, what other brands that I'm like excited about can fit into that niche? And I was like, okay, what about Lego? And now I'm doing a Lego video, and hopefully, maybe they will see it. I hope they will see it, and then maybe future get a camera, the collaboration with Lego. That would be another dream client for me to have. I was like, okay, fuck, that would be so sick to do. But that was I only thought of that. I was like, okay, I can make a video specifically to that client, and because it fits my niche, it fits what I do, it fits my skills. And yeah, having these thoughts before, because you can do anything for anyone, but having that figured out in some ways gives me so much more creative freedom to like think directly in that way, and not be here and here, but just be like this and just push that. And again, this is not mean limiting yourself.
Nice. And we don't have any more questions. So can we go back to Tommy again?
Yeah.
He was saying at the beginning of the call, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Lenny, could you review my recent short I created maybe at the end of the stream? I'm curious how much would that video would have been if it were for a client money wise. He sent the link. I'm gonna send it to you again here. Here
Oh,
we
I
go.
got it. I got it. I got it. Wait, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Oh, I already
Yes,
saw
that
a
will be
sneak
even
peek.
better.
Looked sick already. Let me try and open it here. I want to share audio with it. Tommy, give me a second. I'm working on it. Uh, Screen, Chrome tab. Here we go. Oh, uh, does it now share the audio though?
Wala, acho que foi uma parte responder esta vida. Não,
Yes, we can
Does
hear
it?
it. We can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
não faz aqui. Esse é um video porque era privato.
Wow, bro, that is sick. Oh, I was not prepared for that. That is so cool. I like it.
I really like it. My only problem with this video, and it's really frustrating, the music is too loud.
Yeah,
Like I
my
can't
ears
hear
flew
him.
out.
I
Yeah,
cannot hear what he is trying to say. And even I don't know if he speaks German or English or whatever. I
I
really don't
think.
know because of the music. That's my only problem.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty loud, but I think the question. I mean, there's a lot of things I can give feedback on. I love the idea, bro. I love how you combine the fracture elements and the 3D model of yourself. I could see some inspiration there. So I love it. Um, what was the question though? It was how much would this video have been, right?
Like
If it
money
were for the
wise for a client, if it was like for a client, money
this video
wise.
is from you, Tommy, right? I think this was, yeah, I mean, it says Tommy, so it's probably from him. Is the question how much would I charge for a video like that? Or
He said,
is this,
yeah.
yeah, or is the question how much should he charge for that video if it was an actual sponsored video? These are two different things. Is he saying something? It's that's the question. How much would you charge? How much would I charge for a video like that? It definitely comes down to the brand, but this is obviously a more complex video, and I would probably spend a lot of time on it. But yeah, this would be a creative way of showcasing a product, right? This would mean I would go into the sales process with them. I would pitch them the idea. I would work out a concept. We would schedule a shooting. I would probably bring someone on to shoot. I would probably bring on people to help me with the rendering side of things because I'm handling a lot of projects at once. So what I can say that I think I've said that before, but I try to not go lower than 5 figures for a project now. That's just because based on like how much people I need to bring in and help me shoot the content. But I think a video like that, depending on how much time you put in, that's the thing. It's hard to measure in time, and I have a separate video about that. But I am more than convinced that for a video like that, and it was an official Nike sponsored video, I could probably charge 20, 25, maybe 25,000. I think if it was an actual sponsored post and they were excited enough to work with me, I think I could probably get that budget. This is obviously not happening, but this is probably where I would try to go for with the company in mind. But yeah, again, this all comes down to the project and the company behind it, and also how much reach do you already have, how many other clients you have. Like there's a lot of things, but I'm a big fan of trying to like up your prices. This is good work. Like you can definitely build on that, but this is already good work, and you should definitely start charging for that. So yeah.
Good
Let me
job,
go
man.
back
Good
in
job,
here.
Tommy. Honestly,
Really good job.
really, really good job.
I love it. Honestly, it's really cool. I love the idea. I love the blending. The only thing I would probably do is work on the camera animation a bit. I'm a bit picky with camera animations. It's always good to have like a certain, because right now you're, when you look at it like this, you're running towards the wall. This is you're running towards that wall, and the camera's right behind you. There's not so much depth. Rather, it would be cool if as the camera was from the side and you were walking towards that wall, you would actually see the impact of you hitting that wall, rather than there's no perspective change when you look from that direction. So if you come towards that wall, you don't know when you're hitting that wall. Whereas when you're side view and you will run towards that wall, you have the moment of impact. You can prepare for it, and the drop would look so much more impactful. Small things, but honestly, I love the effort, bro.
Khalid is saying, "Did you really mean 25,000 will start learning Blender from now on?"
I love that, bro. I love that. Yeah, again, this is just a number that I would try to go for. I'm not sure if the client, if it was Nike, I just know how much budgets these companies have for these types of campaigns. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I would get that, but I would aim for that because I know that they have these budgets allocated. I know that from other people. I know that from myself. I just know how they work, but they only work. They don't give you that money for free. They expect something, and then there is a good amount of like trust you need to get from them in order to work with them. But the more
Yeah.
brand reputation you have, the easier it will be to ask for certain budgets, right? So yeah, but this is definitely not
And also,
unrealistic.
it's still 25,000. Like, it's for those companies, it's not that big of a money, but it's
No.
still a big of money to pay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's
yeah,
money, but they have allocated budgets. So
for sure.
yes,
Tommy, I was picky. I rendered it 4 times. Thanks for the tips. What about if it isn't Nike, just for a sneaker reseller, because that was the video.
yeah. Well, then
How much
you
would you
will
charge
most
for this
likely
case?
not be able to charge those prices.
25,000.
No, I highly doubt it. Unfortunately, it's that the thing is that with those brands, it will be very hard for them for you to convince them, because you know I would say that a sneaker reseller, without knowing them, I mean, I don't know their prices, I don't know how much marketing budgets I probably they will not be able to pay five figures for a video.
Can I
But
mention?
that doesn't mean that you cannot make good money with them. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Like, what I noticed from Lenny's content after watching lots of it, and also Tommy's video right now, like, these kind of videos not meant to attract client or acquisition or stuff like that. It's marketing campaign mainly, like the one that you see on the TV back in the days. When I see, like, I don't know, Cristiano is doing a car promo or car advertisement on the TV or something like that. So it's not really meant to come and sell it, but it's more of a marketing campaign. So, and
You need-
usually companies
yeah.
would go for that. Big companies, resellers.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need to think like this. These big brands, they have big budgets for marketing, right? Marketing is one of the biggest parts of any brand. And what they're doing now is they're going from traditional TVC more to social content. They're reducing the budget on TVC side and putting it there. And the budgets for TVC and television commercial are, we're talking like 300, half a million for a video. Like that's how
It's
much
insane, yeah.
is needed. Like, and imagine now, instead of creating one TVC commercial, it's like, we just bring like 5 or 6 content creators in there and just help bring this campaign to life. Asking
Just
for
for-
50K budgets is not unrealistic. Like, it's possible. Like, it's there. They have the budgets, and if it's worth it, they see the value in it. You can charge these prices, but obviously it's a competitive field. A lot of people want it, so you have to kind of stand out a bit and also have some reputation to build it. But this can be done using a spec ad, doing one spec ad for a company, doing one video that pops as a brand in it. They see it, they love it, it creates traction. Next year you close with them, it's 50K.
It's one of the questions while we're talking this topic. One of the questions that really made me like go crazy. Why the hell? Like, why the fuck for real? Why the fuck the big brands? We talk about Rolex, talk about Mercedes, Porsche, or whatever. Go and be a sponsor to such a sport like Formula One. They literally, to me, in my brain, they are losing money with that. Like, they are not making money,
No,
out of it.
of course they're not
So,
making money.
They don't, but they still pay lots of millions of dollars to be sponsored into Formula One or into football, like or something. And it's all about marketing. So these companies like really care about their image and the marketing.
It's just reputation. It's just visibility, and you have to understand that the budgets you're thinking of, 2K for a video, 5K for a video. When we're talking brand deals, like that's nothing.
That's another level. Yeah,
that's another level. You had another 5K just because it's a bit urgent, right? Just because you have some extra, like just for some usage rights or whatever it is. That's like small things, but the real production, you should start to think that. But again, this is a process. You need to get there. Like it's. I'm not going to sit here and be like everybody can get 10,000 euros for a video. There needs to be a certain process involved. They will not give you that money for free. Obviously, it's still money, and they are not done with it. But the money is there. It just needs to be you who grabs it. So, yeah, cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Any more questions, guys, before Lenny leaves?
Yep.
Any more questions?
Doesn't seem so.
5, 4, 3,
Thank you
3.5, 2, 1 half.
1.5. All right. Thank you for that comment, Aladdin. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, motion creators, big update coming soon. Check out the course. As we're speaking, I am recording this video with my microphone, so it will be also repurposed, uploaded in the content. We have a bunch more of these, like more business focused tutorials that I'm recording right now, and they will all be up in the module in a few days, just like the Blender course, just like the compositing module. But yeah, we'll make a big announcement to it. Just stay hyped, and yeah, Ben, any questions, feel free to ask them in the community, and also feel free to bring them to the next call. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Aladdin, for being here always. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
See you guys.